As I promised you, we're going to squeeze in an extra talk from Dr. Larry Herr, who is a graduate of Harvard, where he studied under G. Ernest Wright and Frank Cross. And then he went overseas and taught for several years in the Philippines. But he ended up in Burman University in Canada, which has been his career, where he trained people in Hebrew Bible as well as archaeology and ancient Near Eastern history. He has been the director of a project at Umeri, started at Hispan, and has served many, many projects in Jordan as their ceramic typologist. So he was here for the conference this last week on dolmen, and he's going to tell you why Petra is the most important site.
Thank you, Larry. We've been working together for over 50 years. Golden anniversary already. Yeah. Is Petra the greatest ancient site in the world? I'm going to say yes, adamantly. Okay, but I'm going to show you why. I have 5 categories great ancient sites must all have. The first is size. We don't want some small site. It may be important. I couldn't include the Giza pyramids, for instance. Chronology. If it's really ancient, it's better than being medieval. Yeah? Some sort of scenic context. Yeah, I'll explain what that is as we go along. Scenic drama, perhaps. An emotional appeal. Maybe there's even mystery involved with some of these sites, like Petra, the rose-red city, half as old as time. Yeah, an aspect of romanticism even in the mystery that's there. Also, uniqueness. These 5 categories, I think, need to be in all of these. So, number 6. Machu Picchu. You may be disappointed that this is only number 6. But when you think of chronology, it's only 500 years old, for heaven's sake. You have to be older than that to be worthwhile, we think, anyway. It is a grand site. Look at that mountain behind. The stage setting, you can't get any better in the Andes Mountains, too. And the preservation of the ruins, isn't it fantastic? But it's only 500 years old. Don't forget that. So it's number 6. Number 5, the incredible city of Bagan in Myanmar, Burma, dating to the 11th and 12th centuries, so it's Middle Ages. This site doesn't have a lot of great drama in the context, but when you look out over the site and you see hundreds of these pagodas going up, and originally there were almost, or maybe more, than 4,000 of them like this. When I climbed the first one and began to do a 360, going and looking at all these things poking above the forest, this is not jungle, it's forest, I started giggling, and I couldn't stop. It was so fantastic a sight. Here's another picture. And if you have enough money, in the early morning when the haze is really at its best, you can go up in a balloon, and it really is a tremendous sight from there. Number 4. Oh, this didn't go forward there. You probably will recognize this as Angkor Wat in Cambodia. All right, many of you have probably been there. These tree roots going down over the ruins give it a spectacular, mystical, romantic feeling when you visit it. And this is not the only one. There are scores of these sorts of roots that go down amongst the ruins there. Also, these big faces in one of the sites. The site is huge. It's probably the largest ancient site in the world because there are multiple sites all next to each other. This one has these funny, these faces. There are over 100 of these faces in that monument, and the monuments are large. This is the greatest one of them all that most tourists go to see. And you have then number 3, Luxor in Egypt. The age, the chronology is fantastic. It's from about the 15th to the 12th century BC. And some of the mortuary temples, such as that of Ramses III at Medinat Habu, are still in color. You can see on the roof the original colors that are there. This is one of the temples at Luxor, the Luxor temple. There is the huge one at Karnak, too. But talk about drama. This is the mortuary temple of Queen, she called herself King, Hatshepsut of Egypt. It's a fantastic place to visit. Just on the other side of that cliff is the Valley of the Kings, which has to be considered along with this, too, and King Tut and all that stuff. And the tombs of the nobles. It's just a fantastic place to visit. And, of course, we're going to end with Petra, but I forgot one. And I have a friend, thank you, Danielle, who reminded me, hey, what are you going to do with Pompeii? Well, I have to include Pompeii in this list. It's spectacular, and they keep finding things at Pompeii, too. So I don't have pictures of it. I had to make this lecture yesterday, and it was only yesterday that Danielle reminded me that I had to include Pompeii. Then we come to Petra, the rose-red city, half as old as time. Overlooking Petra looks like this. You can see the weathered sandstone of Petra, high on the mountain in the back. Let's see, I have right there is the Jebel Harun, the traditional burial place of the prophet Aaron, Moses' brother. The Biara, the Iron Age site, right here on the flat top of that place right there. The Sikh going through in this area right here. We'll see a few of these. I've spent a little more time with Petra. The main entry for people going into Petra is the Sikh. However, some of us who have worked in Petra, and you'll hear people who have later on, they go in another way. It's a little bit quicker. But if you can go in through the Sikh in the very early morning, that's a magical time. It's silent. The echoes of your own footsteps come back to you. It's a spectacular time to go through the Sikh at Petra. And of course, when the Sikh ends, there is the fabulous treasury. I felt like Indiana Jones the first time I came to this place. I've heard that last summer the tourism is not as great in Petra as it used to be, but go there by all means. This is the greatest ancient site in the world. In Indiana Jones, the pictures they showed inside, no, that's movie set. That's not what's in real time. Colors. The sandstone minerals and chemicals colorize, if I can put it that way, the sandstone in incredible colors. Just everywhere you see these striations and these forms. It's sculptures within sculptures, or almost paintings within sculptures like that. And finally, at one of the ancient sites called the Great Temple, many of us who have gone to Petra, and I've been there over 25 times, think that it's not a temple, that it's more a civic center or an audience hall, as Leanne will tell us later on. But these elephant capitals that go around the courtyard at Petra are unique. They're one of the most unique artistic elements in the entire Middle East, and reflect that they did have elephants at that time. But my favorite place, and the largest of the monuments at Petra, is the monastery. You have to climb about 45 minutes worth of stone steps to get there. But if you go in the late afternoon, the sunlight just, it's a magic time, sets the place on fire. And it's very large. If you stood at the bottom right here, you would just barely reach between the stones here and the entryway right there. So, yeah, is Petra the greatest site in the ancient site in the world? It is, and don't argue with me.
You can see why his classes are exciting. Right now, we're going to have a 5-minute visual experience thanks to the dean of the Divinity School here at La Sierra, who you're going to meet tomorrow, who's an archaeologist as well as an administrator. So let's go to the visual scene.